Dallas Cowboys have a new head coach, and he will be heading into their first NFL draft as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer, he's going to have a lot of holes that he has to fill when it comes to this Cowboys offense. And Ryan and I, we did our first 3-round mock draft trying to help him out. We're going to break that down here in a second, but before we do that, if you like the content that we put out and you want to help the channel grow, easiest way is hitting that subscribe button, tackling that bell, and also leaving a like and a comment. Let us know what you think the Cowboys should do in this upcoming draft. Ryan, let's pull up the mock draft here. So we did a full 3-round mock draft, all 100 or so picks, and we have him going with Jalon Walker, edge rusher slash linebacker, kind of however you want to put him, out of Georgia. And as I said, there's so many holes to fill on this Cowboys team. They need offensive line help. They need running back. They need receiver help. You can make an argument for like tight end depth. That's just the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, they need defensive line, linebackers, and secondary. So pretty much every position, I think, kind of outside of that quarterback position. And so that's where it's like what you're just trying to find the best value. And I think Micah Parsons is an absolute stud, and that's one of the benefits I think for this Cowboys team is they do have superstars at their at certain positions. I mean, you have your edge rusher, you have Micah Parsons, you've got your number one receiver in CD Lamb. Say what you want about Dak Prescott, but he does have that superstar capabilities there and talent. And I think when
Yeah.
putting things together, I think he can be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. In his defense, they have no like there's not too much else around him, especially over these past couple of years. And it's just 1 year removed from like how great that Cowboys offense was until they just ran into a buzzsaw in the Green Bay Packers
Yeah.
when they won the NFC East. So eh, I think you go get a guy like Jalen Walker if you're trying to revamp this defense. You're trying to also just get more linebackers as well. I know he's more of a traditional outside linebacker edge rusher, like a modern day edge rusher, but still just getting more guys in that front seven that can absolutely get after the quarterback and you can move him around a lot. Maybe it's kind of high, but at the same time, though, too, it's if they fall in love with him, I think it's gonna be best, like just best player available for them here.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's most intriguing is just his positional versatility. He can be kind of that middle linebacker, play off the ball, play down in coverage. And then on third downs, you can have him and Micah Parsons on each side, really just pinning their ears back and using their athletic abilities to get after the passer.
Yeah,
So I think that's a really fun option. Another option that I think would be intriguing, I think they need to make other moves in this offseason for this to really work, would be Ashton Genty. They need to solidify that offensive line a little bit more, figure out what they're doing with Zach Martin, figure out that right tackle spot, replace Tyler Biotish. He left last year in free agency to Washington. And so like they need to kind of solidify that offensive line, I think, before they go and make a big investment at running back like Ashton Genty. But with that being said, this is a pretty deep class in terms of offensive linemen. So if they want to get the top running back talent, like I know Jerry Jones loves in this draft class, I think that they can go and snag Ashton Genty here at 12 and kind of figure out the rest later. If they want to, Maisie Smith didn't work out for them, but if they want to go get another big Michigan defensive tackle, Kenneth Grant, I think is a good option here. And a guy that I really like that's coming up my draft board a lot, I think he'll be drafted here. This is probably about the range where he will be taken. That is Armand Membu, the offensive tackle from Missouri.
hmm
A little bit shorter. He's only 6'3", but he has 34-inch arms, so he has the requisite length and athleticism to play tackle on the outside. Absolute mauler in the run game. He has great feet, never stops moving them on the outside and in pass protection. He has a great anchor. Hard for guys to get under his pads because again, he is 6'3". Maybe could lead to some extra batted passes, just him being a little bit shorter. But man, I think if you can get him here and add him on that right side of that offensive line, whether it is at guard if he kicks in, or he's able to stick out at tackle, which I think he can do. I think that would be another really solid pick for them as well. And then you can get a running back later in the draft as well.
yeah, yeah. And I, as I said, like so many just options where like if the Dallas Cowboys went there, I'd be like, I get it. I get it. I mean, there's so many good guys here that they can go and get from that fall in this range. Some guys will be taking 12th overall at Jalen Walker, but there's gonna be some guys I could see them maybe taking that would be taking like 28th or 29th. The one guy, and I'm a huge fan of Ashton Genty, but I think he's the one guy I think they more and more I've thought about it that I think they might actually avoid only just because of how deep this running back class is. He is the best running back, but the Cowboys need so much help. If they went and got him, I would totally get it. But at the same time, though, too, it's they just need so much help. I think a guy like Ashton Genty would immediately be the number one running back there. But at the same time, though, too, there's no offensive line to block for him. We've seen this a lot with running backs. Go look at Saquon in New York. If you don't have an offensive line to block for you, how good
Yeah.
can you be really? So that's where it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing. And so with this first overall pick, we have them going edge rusher Jalon Walker or linebacker, I guess however you want to call it. This is where then I talk about like to my point of so you pass on Ashton Genty, you get a versatile defensive guy you can move around all your front seven. Then you go get TreVeyon Henderson, who is like, he can be your bell cow back as well. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got that speed. He's a great runner in between the tackles also. And so you get him in the second round here, much more affordable. But once again, though, too, even if you didn't want to go this route, there's so many other different guys that you can go and get to uh, go help beef up this team as a whole. So Derek Harmon was available. CJ West, he's the defensive tackle out of Indiana. He was taken in the third round, so I'm sure we bring him up here. Or I will again also. So, but there's just so many different routes I think they can go. I think once again, just best player available for this team here and the basically the positional need, and that's why I think you wait on running back just because of how many good running backs there are in this class.
Yeah, and I think you go look like Tyler Booker, Wyatt Milam. There's a lot of interior guys. Donovan Jackson, I think, went around this range, like
Yeah,
interior offensive line guys that can come in. Right tackle wise, maybe like Anthony Belton, flip sides. You can go and get well, I tackle wise, I guess it thins out a little bit after that first round. Anthony Belton, Ariante Ursary are kind of maybe going in this range. They'd probably have to move up to get Ursary, but there's a lot of different options here. TreVeyon Henderson is a home run hitter though at the running back position. I think he can be your bell cow back.
yeah,
Worst comes to worst, his floor is the best spell back I think in the NFL. He's a phenomenal third down back in terms of receiving, pass blocking. Just a really good running back and just a guy I think you want on your team. So all in all, another good pick there. And then last but not least here for the Cowboys, we're going to go with Jonah Monheim, the offensive lineman out of USC. This guy is just very versatile, very tough, very physical. He doesn't have the length to make it on the outside. I believe he came in at like 31 and 3/4 inch arms. So well below that requisite length to be a tackle. But with that being said, I think in on that interior, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and could be a guard, a center, really whatever you need him to be on that inside.
yeah. And once again, too, this kind of I feel like I'm just keep preaching to the choir here, but once again, I think great value here overall, and you get to address an immediate need um, when it comes to this offensive line position. And as you mentioned earlier on, too, Tyler Biotish leaving last year to follow Dan Quinn to the Commanders, so there's going to be holes there overall on like how do you replace these positions on the interior of the offensive line to help protect Dak Prescott, to help improve on the running game. And so I think going, again, good value here on the offensive line side of the ball. And if not, if you want to go on the defensive line side of the ball, as I already mentioned, CJ West, I think he'd be a great complement there to Micah Parsons and then Jalon Walker as well. Really help out on that run defense, especially too if you go look at the division that they're in. Also, too, going up against Saquon, have to go up against Jaden Daniels and his Washington Commanders team as well. They're going to want to have good defensive front there that can get after the run and can stop it. And once again, too, going back just to the running back point as well, Devin Neal was still available also here at this pick. I actually even think too there were a couple other guys. I think Dylan Sampson was also available
Yeah, Dylan Sampson
at a,
was.
at a Tennessee, and then it might have been even one other guy. But there's so many good
Yeah,
guys here that you can go and get and wait. Quinton Judkins, the other Ohio State running back, was just taking a couple picks before this. So as I said, I feel like I'm just kind of a broken record here as well. But for the Cowboys, there's just so many needs that I think you'll just go best player available as throughout the entire time. I think you can wait on running back.
yeah,
One of the few teams that would maybe pass on Ashton Genty just because there's some more other prior needs. Um, and I think you just go start off with just an athletic freak, just like how they did with Mika Parsons. Then you go get a stud running back, just like how they did with. Well, I can't say that. I was going to say Ezekiel Elliott, but he picked him at like 7th or 8th overall. But he
Yeah.
is an Ohio State running back, so you have good success there. So, but
Yeah.
who knows with the Cowboys? It's going to be interesting to see how the combines go, how their interviews go, kind of what some of the reporting comes out, like who are some guys that they're liking, because they could go in any different direction.
Oh yeah. No, and that is, I think, just the main thing with the Cowboys right now. They need to update that base level of talent. They right now are like they have the CD Lambs, they have Dak, like they have Micah Parsons, right? They have
Yeah,
Trayvon Diggs. They have Trayvon Diggs. They just don't have the supporting cast to really allow those guys to go out and shine. And so I think this is going to be a good draft for them if they can just come out, take best player available, increase the base level of talent on their roster. And I think we did that in this 3-round mock draft. So let's go
I
ahead.
agree.
Let's wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. While you're down there, leave a comment telling Jerry Jones that he should hire us as consultants for the 2025 NFL draft. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.